So as a kid growing up in the church, I had the 10 Commandments down pat when I was like 3, okay? I had them memorized. My dad even made it into a game where I'd do a victory lap after saying all 10, and I'd be going, do not covet, do not covet, while running around the house, and my parents were like, yay, good for you, you got through all 10. I didn't know what the word covet meant at 3, but yeah, I was taught throughout my life, okay, follow the 10 Commandments. But then I remember in middle school, I started reading the Bible for myself. And I went to my Sunday school teacher and I was like, hey, there's some commandments in here we don't talk about. Like, don't cook a goat in its mother's milk, or don't wear these types of fabric woven together. Or if a woman's on her period or a man has had an emission recently, they can't go into the presence of God. They can't go into the tabernacle. We don't tell women on their period today they can't come to church. So like, how come we don't follow these ones? And she said, well, because Jesus fulfilled the law. And I said, well, didn't Jesus fulfill the whole law? Like, what about the big 10? And she's like, well, you do have to follow the 10. Those are different. And I was like, how? She couldn't really answer that question for me. But I think I have the answer to it now. In the New Testament, Jesus says to love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself. And this fulfills the whole law. And if you look at the 10 Commandments, we have to recognize they were written to a particular group of people at a particular time in history and in a particular cultural context. And so they all have to do with showing honor and respect for God, and showing love to people or treating people around you well, in a way that makes sense in their cultural context. So it's more so about looking at ways to show honor and love for God and loving people in a way that makes sense for our culture today. So we look at what it meant to them and then recognize, okay, what's the cultural equivalent for us today? And a lot of the 10 Commandments are actually kind of misunderstood. Like, do not murder, that's pretty straightforward. Even today, murdering someone's not very loving. But like, don't take the Lord's name in vain. Okay, some people think that means don't say OMG or oh my God. But actually, that had something to do with the taking of vows. Because in the ancient Near East, it was common in most religions to practice making a vow to God and saying, okay, God, if you do this for me, I'm going to do this. But sometimes they would invoke the name to manipulate the gods into doing things for them. So basically what God was saying is, hey, if you make a vow using my name or you make a vow to me, you better take that seriously and you better uphold your end of the bargain. You can't play with me, you can't manipulate me, because I'm God. So it had to do with respect and making sure that you follow through on your vows that you make. And so we need to find the cultural equivalent today to being true to our word.